But this is pretty interesting capability that in a half an hour or an afternoon you can explore a bunch of different options on your design without having to go and make a bunch of physical prototypes, take them to the lab, and play with them in a physically disruptive manner. So it saves time and materials here as well. It also helps our customers who are looking at some of the sustainability impacts of their designs. Lots of customers are looking now how to take out weight, how to be a greener company, how to maybe change some of the materials that they're using so that they can produce products that are more sustainable. And simulation is a great way to help with that. So we now have two big sort of products in our simulation portfolio. We have Inventor Professional, which is all the simulation embedded in Inventor that I just showed in that video. And here we're really trying to address the most pervasive problems and also be kind of a compass to your design. So help you evaluate, is A better than B? Make a crazy idea, go off in some direction, but it doesn't look like it's going to work out. You can check in simulation and then maybe try something else. Now the Algor products. Algor is a company that traditionally has really only been sold in the United States, but they have a pretty broad range of simulation products, starting from your very basic stress analysis, linear static stress, all the way through nonlinear to multiphysics and some CFD. So this is now part of the Autodesk portfolio, and it works in a multi-CAD environment, but it also, over time, will leverage this Inventor native data concept, and also will be able to set up simulations in Inventor Professional, and then over time be able to read them directly into the Algor products. So this allows you to go further, but still really leverage that Inventor data and that positive experience. So there's a lot of, I think, potential here for simulation in most of our customers' ecosystems. Another type of simulation that we're talking about more and more is on the visual side. So I think many of you, when you first started with 3D, getting that 3D model was like a huge deal because people could really see what you were doing. Well, now we can make photorealistic versions of all this stuff. And even on something like this Parker component, you can start to look at different design options, do design reviews with customers, or sit down with management and show them kind of different options of the design in a very easy, real-time kind of back and forth. We'll make some changes and see what happens in this visual picture. And this is using a product we have called Showcase. So we're finding that visualization is becoming another type of simulation, if you will, that people are doing because the aesthetics of your products are becoming more and more important as well. So another area, I've got a lot of grades here. We are rich with capability. Is factory simulation. So as many of you probably know, the number one product used in factory layout, factory simulation is AutoCAD. Everybody uses AutoCAD on their factories. They also, though, use products like Inventor, because a lot of the equipment is designed in Inventor. Products like our Navisworks product to do fly-through, and in some cases, products like 3ds Max to do really stunning animations of what's going on in the factory. So all these are Autodesk products. Today they're not linked together in a very deliberate way for the factory. We have customers doing it, but what we're taking a look at is how can we more deliberately enable customers to do some factory simulation, lay out their factory, and start to leverage all these different tools. So here again we have some prototype work we've been doing in the area of factory simulation. So here's an AutoCAD layout of the factory. I'm going to grab a work cell, bring that floor plan into Inventor, and start to lay down guardrails, put my robots in there with a keep out or a range of motion kind of bubble there, add conveyors. All these components can be intelligent and leverage some of the smarts in Inventor and having a nice rich component library to lay out what's going on in this work cell. From here we can go into Navisworks and start to aggregate multiple work cells, bring in the building data, bring in the point cloud, bring in all kinds of other data that might be important to the factory, and then walk around inside of it, check for interferences, look for clash, do some clash detection. And then this last one was with 3ds Max. You can also create a really cool photorealistic animation of the actual robots working. So this is what we think is some of what Autodesk can deliver to the factory space. In a very interesting and compelling way. So today, many of you have some of these purpose-built applications that help you leverage the 3D model a little to a bigger extent. area, this is in Mechatronics. So we have our AutoCAD electrical product as well as Inventor Professional that work together to do wire harness design that allow you to really connect the electrical group with the mechanical group. I don't know too many companies that can afford the trial and error that goes on between these groups and the sort of lack of communication that can easily happen between these two departments. So we have software that helps enable that communication because you're all working around this single digital prototype and leveraging the same digital data and being able to take that electrical design intent directly into Inventor. So that greatly helps improve communication and help people work more effectively. We've also got the routed systems capability, which does the tubing, the piping, the wiring, the hose. This is all in Inventor Professional today. And it's one place where more and more these days I'm meeting customers who are actually putting the wire harness in their assemblies. Years ago, people would never, they were never getting that far. It was time to start doing other things before they could do that. But now there's so much 3D data now that they're really taking a look at, I don't want to be wasting so much material by cutting all this stuff on the shop floor and doing trial and error to put it together. I want to do this up front. I don't want to pay rush charges for components that are, hard to buy and have long lead times. I want to plan ahead. So with the routed systems capability and the AIP, you can put all this kind of data right in the model and flow it right out to manufacturing very easily. We also just introduced in 2010 a tooling application. So this will create molds for plastic parts, and it's built into Inventor Professional, and it is, like many of our applications, very, very focused. So it guides you through this whole process, creating the core and cavity, with a huge mold library, putting the gates and runners on, and even creating automatically, with really a button push, all of the different type of documentation that you need for the mold. And that's historically something that takes a long time, and that a lot of people go and do an AutoCAD and don't have connected to their 3D data. The other thing we've done is we've added some of the mold flow simulation into this product. So this is where we're starting to cross-pollinate some of the acquired technology into Inventor, so that you can do some quick studies to see how the melted plastic is going to flow inside of the mold. Very easy to set up because we know it's a mold, we know what you're trying to do, so it's not really hard for the user to get some very, very quick results there. So enhancing customer communication. This is another area that I think is probably pretty high on the list of things that companies I talk to are looking to do, especially right now because it's harder and harder to win business. So they're looking to see how they can differentiate from their competitors by communicating better with their customers. So one place where they're doing this is with our iLogic automation capability. Now I know Trionics was an early adopter of iLogics long before Autodesk even acquired them. So this should be not new information for some of you, but the nice thing about iLogic is it helps you do very simple automations, just if-then-else kind of things within Inventor, Outlook kind of style rules to create geometry, or you can take it really, really far, almost to the point where Parker went with it, and to build a configurator that allows you to create geometry that you can send to your customers, both internal and external within the company. So they tied the iLogic capability to DWF and actually have some of this stuff up on their website. So it's very easy for their customers to go and get the data they need so they can get designed into these projects. So here's a video on this working. As mentioned before, this is up on the Subscription Center for both 2009 and 2010. We had to put it on the Sub Center because we acquired it so late in the year we couldn't get it into the 2010 shipping product without change. And so just through the dialogue, you can select different options and variants for these components and get dramatically different components out of the system. So this kind of automation is really, really attainable and reachable for all of you. It's not that complicated. You've got a great partner here with Symetri to help you, and it starts at the engineering work group. The engineer can do some of this on his own, and you can really take it as far as you want, even something as sophisticated and interesting as this. Now, another place where we see this convergence and people trying to get data to their customers is in the building products space. And so we have our digital prototyping strategy. We also at Autodesk have a BIM strategy. So are any of you familiar with BIM? So BIM is basically